Firstly, thank you very much for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Excited to be on.
So I thought to tell about you and the work you are doing to my audience.
Can you repeat that?
I thought to tell about you and the work that you are doing to my audience.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I'm Ellis. I'm 42 years old. I do programming for in the childcare industry, primarily marketing software and form software. Been doing development for over about 25 years now, professionally.
Okay, so from long time you are doing programming. So uh, what are the programming languages that you know, and what are the
Uh,
projects that you did?
okay. Let's see here. Started off with Perl back in '98, then learned PHP 4, and from there I forgot everything about Perl. Um, I did I did JavaScript before then, just minor stuff. I've worked on all sorts of different systems. I've created like some Comet-based systems, which is replaced by WebSockets now. It was for call center answering service. I did that in about 72 hours straight work. Uh, I've done a bunch of projects that are on my GitHub. Uh, I've worked at many jobs doing development, doing all sorts of weird stuff. Like uh, I did a site for getting report data from the police departments to find out where crimes were happening. Uh, yeah, it's I've worked for a coupon site, coupon deal site, working on that kind of stuff with SEO and making sure that things are optimized and scalable. Um, yeah, I've done so many things it's hard to remember. Uh, muted. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. So
It's
you are
okay.
from you're from
I'm originally from California, the Silicon Valley area. I moved to Texas when I was 13, so that's been quite a while since I've been here. Um, yeah, so the Fort Worth area, northern Texas.
So is there anything that you don't know about programming?
Repeat.
Is there anything that you don't know about programming?
That I don't know about programming. Oh, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. I'm always learning, always learning. New technologies come out. I always forget things, so I'm always relearning things. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just so many things that I'm constantly improving on, like just things coming over from other languages that other people thought of, and help improve the programming process and making sure that you have good code as the major things that I try to take in.
So what is the best thing that you like in yourself as a programmer?
It's being able to solve challenges and also to build things. If I'm not able to build something physically, I can definitely do it in software. It's definitely it's definitely a fulfilling experience. Sometimes at work, it's stuff that I don't want to do, but it's still fulfilling the to primal need to fulfill my need to solve problems.
So you said you worked on so many projects, so many software. So what is software for you?
Softwares could be lots of things. It could just be something really simple as like something prompting on your computer going, hello, good morning. It could be something really complex as like a like a CMS, CRM system, ETL batch processing, soft OSs. It's all around us now. There's barely anything without software in it.
So what do you think that the common mistakes that software developers or the creators do? Uh,
Um, when you first start out, you're always going to make mistakes. And I think it's pretty normal as we keep growing, we're going to gravitate towards one thing, whether it's a philosophy, a style, and if you don't keep up and actually update, keep improving upon yourself, you're just going to go to the wayside. I've seen some people like try to bite off too much at the same time, instead of trying to take it slowly and just kind of focus. That's one of the things I notice with other programmers, especially when they first start out. Um, One of the big things that I would suggest to a new programmer would be, you know, figure out problem solving, like how to break down a problem into small chunks.
so tell me about time factor when it comes to software.
Time factor.
Yeah.
Uh, it's it ranges. It definitely ranges. It could be, it could be something really small. Take you 10 minutes, and sometimes you can be working on something for a month. Um, if it's a complete software package, like I've worked on stuff for years, before it was no longer needed, and small changes here and there, and fixes and bug fixes.
So why do humans need software?
Ah, so I guess the urge to get things done quickly, instead of having to do things manually like we used to do with calculations and stuff of that nature. So it definitely helps us with software plus the computing power to solve whatever problem comes along, or entertain us. It could be just video games. um, there's also things that can help save lives a lot easier than trying to like manually monitor everything on a person.
So what is world without software?
I would say that without software, we wouldn't have computers. We'd be back in like the 1800s. We'd be, using steam and steam powered locomotives, and maybe we had some electricity, so maybe we'd have some diesel powered trains. Uh, I think that the world would be a lot different. It'd be a lot more manual work out there, or like if you're doing accounting, it's going to be like manual, just writing things down
So
and
what?
calculating your head. Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah, go on.
No, I'm finished with that.
So tell me about you as a person without software.
Oh, since I grew up with computers all my life, pretty much, software's been my life. I would be. I have no idea what I would actually do without software. Maybe be a farmer, maybe be a mechanic. Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine without it, since it's been my life for 42 years.
So how do this software is helping human being?
Well, for we can use the software to calculate lots of things quickly, find trends, such as like trying to figure out how to do crops. So that's helping feed people. We can also do a lot of simulations to figure out what's going to happen where, weather-wise, so we can get people, out of the way of destruction. Uh, like I said, also in the medical community, you're going to have software monitoring people and making sure that they survive things that they wouldn't be able to survive like 100 years ago. Heart attacks and preventative maintenance trends.
Is there anything that you think that should be done in software that didn't happen in IT industry?
Things that shouldn't be done in software.
things that
Yeah.
should be done, and in your perspective, that didn't happen still in IT industry?
Mm. Um, Software wise, I mean, it's everywhere. I can't think of anything without it. I mean, sometimes it's kind of annoying. Like, why do we need so many smart appliances? Like, it's a toaster. I don't need it broadcasting that my toast is medium brown. Uh, I think that maybe sometimes that we've gone too far with the software and what we instead of asking if we should, we're just going out and doing it. Can be a fun project, but once it starts um, infiltrating our lives, especially when it's used to spy on us, it's kind of awful. Um, yeah, I can't think of anything really that software isn't touching anymore.
So you started from one. Your number is 25 now. 25 years in software industry. So
Yes.
how much distance you traveled in the world called software?
How much have I traveled? Not very much. I've gone on vacations and traveled throughout the U.S. But for work wise, not much. Not much at all. Yeah, I
I
mean, but
mean, I mean, with in software, how depth you went?
oh, all right. So I've gone into doing microcontroller programming to uh, EEPROM programming to I've done FPGA projects. Most of my stuff has been web development, mostly back end software. I've you know that's been pretty much the gist of everything. I've done some other things here and there for work. Some scripts to like notify us when tickets came in. Um, I've done some assembly programming here and there. It's been a while. Um, yeah, I've been pretty. I've gone all over the place, but I've been primarily in the web development, mostly back end, and pretty kind of deep into that.
So how much distance you have to travel still?
For work. For to learn. It's always going deeper and deeper and deeper. I don't want to go super laser focus and focus on one thing, but I'm gonna keep trying to go as deep as I can, as wide as I can. Um, like I said, the software industry is constantly changing. Just software in general, new techniques, updates to update the programming languages, change lots of things here and there. I've seen the growth, the changes in software in programming languages over the years. It's been quite amazing. Like the things that we couldn't do back then, now we can do with just a single function.
So so you understand, you understood a lot of applications mechanism.
Yes, yes. Um, you know, uh, yeah, it's definitely like a lot of the mechanisms. The bigger the system, the harder it is to understand because there's so much legacy stuff that's just kind of just creeps out, and you're like, what? Okay, that's how that works. Um, but yeah, I've done lots of systems up, from ground up and taken over legacy projects that are huge and taken over small projects. So.
Do you have any best memory that you cannot forget?
Oh, yeah. It was definitely the call center software. It was a friend of mine who owned a answering service, so they would take calls for doctors after hours and plumbers and uh, morticians and people like that. And so they had an old system running on SCO Unix that was from 1986. It still used 5 1/4 inch floppy disks. And one day, all the main piece of hardware died, and they had to come up with a solution to save the business. And I got a call and like, hey, I need help with this. Like, and 72 hours later, I had something working for him. Just completely new system and all web based instead of the old green screen terminals, and it was fun times. Lots of learning very fast.
So, what is you when you started understanding software the day one, and what are you today? What is the difference that you're observing in yourself as a programmer?
Um, so back in 98, when I started really doing more web development stuff and actually learning more programming, besides like playing with Visual Basic and Basic back when I was a teenager. Um, so when I started taking that on, I didn't really know about security. I didn't know about patterns. Uh, Frameworks weren't really existent back then for PHP. So like Perl was just learn that, then learn PHP, and over the years, I've learned things, and sometimes it's taken me a while to learn things like testing, like PHP unit testing or test-driven development, and sometimes some of these things take a while to sink in for me. Sometimes it's just the methodology that people try to show about something is wrong, at least in my eyes. And so I'm constantly learning things, and I keep things, things I don't understand in the back of my head. So in case I come across something else and I can make connections and continue learning, it's a best, it's always evolving. So I started out with not knowing security and things, how things should work, to having a lot better understanding of like making sure that security is taking place uh, first and foremost, and then optimizations, making sure that databases are nicely indexed, making sure you're not using the wrong columns, um, you know, seeing if patterns work in certain places. Sometimes it might look like that way, but making sure you don't just jump into things. I know I used to just jump into things and go gun ho on things, on projects. But I've learned to kind of step back and like look at the whole scene before making a decision about what to use or how to do something.
Do you remember everything that you learned in 25 years?
Oh no, I forget everything. I forget lots of things, I should say. Um, Sometimes they come back to me and like, oh yeah, that one time we did this. It's hard to remember everything. Things just change, and you try to remember the stuff that have burned you in the past, and so you don't repeat it. But sometimes it does happen. Unfortunately, like things I can't control. Um, I try to warn people when I see something, but sometimes I just can't control them to stop making the same mistakes I made. Um,
So you are the witness for the change that happened in software from last 25 years. So can you tell some the changes that people who are new to this?
oh yeah, so we when I first started out with web development, we had simple things. We didn't have CSS3. We didn't have, the JavaScript we have now. PHP, Ruby is, grown up. Uh, TypeScript is new. We've seen lots of like, hey, you shouldn't be, here's how you should do it instead of how we used to do it. Just we've definitely evolved the way we've done things. It was simple to begin with, but now it's it's more complex. But I think that as a lot of programmers have grown up with doing this for so long, we can definitely help those newer to like just bypass all the problems that we had, and tell them, hey, you got to check for this, you got to check for that. I think also the languages have added things over the years to really help us not have to do things as hard. Um, and there's been brilliant developers that have created frameworks that help bypass all the stuff that we used to have to do by hand. Um, I remember having to do Ajax calls the old-fashioned way, and then you had to deal with all the different browsers. And jQuery came out, and that helped us. And like finally, everybody just started consolidating on how to do these things. And seeing the consolidations of all the different branch offs, way that people are trying to go with the language. And I got this browser, I'm going to do it this way. Oh, I got this browser, I'm going to do it this way. Now everybody's starting to agree, and which is quite nice. It makes the developer life a lot easier instead of having to worry about who's running what anymore.
So you have seen programmers in 1998 when you started, and now you are seeing the programmers. So what is the difference that you're observing in both?
So just in web development itself, the since it's been so long, there's now like courses in college about it. There's all sorts of boot camps. There's YouTube. People are watching YouTube, reading lots of blogs. You got Twitter. Just people. There's a lot more people helping each other out, especially with the growth of the internet. Because '98, it was right after we really started having more people join the internet. Um, and so with all the boom and like several generations now, new people and um, younger people getting into things, that they now have the resources to achieve better programming habits than I did. I bought a book down at the electronics store, and it taught me very bad things, or didn't teach me good things. It taught me the base of the stuff, but it didn't tell me like, oh, here's how you should do things. It didn't teach about patterns or best practices. Um, so yeah, I think definitely the resources to people getting into the industry are a lot better than they were.
Programming is easy.
Yes and no. Um, if you're doing something simple, maybe it's easy. Maybe it could be easy for some people. It can come naturally. I've seen people just like, oh, I just picked this up last month, and doing amazing things. Um, just like with any skill, I've known people that picked up a guitar and within a month are playing professional. It could play professionally if they wanted to. But I think the biggest thing for programming is the challenges with the problem solving. If you're working for somebody, depending on who you work for, they might be throwing things left and right at you, some really weird ideas that you're trying to figure out how to solve. Um, Sometimes they force you into doing things that you don't want to do, so you have to figure out how to solve it that way. Um, I think it's definitely hand in hand. It can go either way for the individual in their situations.
So how much mind you have used for programming?
Oh, it's if I'm programming, I'm usually focused, like straight up focused. Like I can't listen to music with words in it, or it just distracts me. Or if somebody comes up and like, hey, how's it going? Like, what was I just thinking about? And just have to go back like 25 minutes of work and go, okay, I was doing this. Why did I do this? I can't remember now. But yeah, it's definitely just straight focus and just ignore the rest of the world around me as much as possible.
So uh, is there any tough situation that you faced?
Oh, lots of tough situations. Like I said, with that 72-hour project, I've worked at places where the owner of the company or the boss was always like, "Hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do it this way," and then like later that day or the next day, just like, "Okay, now we're going to work on this," and it's just constant task shifting, and totally different, just taking the car off to the side, totally different direction, just grabbing the wheel. Um, but yeah, the most of the issues have been like, yeah, lots of issues that I've dealt with. Just trying to solve new problems that I never came across. Just like the call center software, because I had to learn the internals of the Asterisk server's AMI, or how to interact with that. Then figure out Comet, the old technology of how to push stuff or long pull to um, browsers. And yeah, it's just anything that involves a lot of uh, new ideas that I've never come across or even remotely. That's always going to be the challenges, and I love those challenges.
So, are you fast in adapting to new things?
Uh, right now, if it's something work related, yes. We just last year and a half ago, we started replatforming our system to use Vue 2, with TypeScript, with the TypeScript decorator. And yeah, so yeah, just having to learn that like off the top of, right then and there, and just keep learning it. So I can adapt pretty quick, I would say, but in my personal ventures, I don't have the time. You know, taking care of a 3-year-old kid, it's kind of hard to focus on the fun stuff like Web 3.0 or any of the other stuff that's coming out. I'd like to play with all those things, but I just don't have the time.
So yeah, my next question is that tell me about your time management.
Oh, geez, time management. I can be bad about time management and put things off to like the last minute. I've been trying to work on that for the last, try to get that better controlled. Sometimes when I'm programming, I do lose track of time. Uh, it's definitely things I need to start doing, but I'm pretty, I can be pretty bad about remembering things. So it's like, or I remember things, but I just don't do them at the time, and I should do them. Like maybe I should start doing, methods about like the Pomodoro method, or I really need to force myself to start scheduling things on my calendar. Um, Especially in my track and career, like if I'm going into management anytime soon, I need to start really working on scheduling things.
You interacted with a lot of softwares. So if you want to ask any question to the software that you worked, do you have any question?
For the softwares, I mean, usually if I have questions, I either I go through the documentation or Google it, or like, why is it this way? And maybe I'll post it on Twitter or some forum. And uh, yeah, I don't have any questions at the moment for anybody at the moment. Uh, but yeah, usually if I have questions, it's usually straight to Google or the document. So, or if it's something I'm working on with somebody else, I'll probably hit them up. I'm like, hey, what's this? Oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's about it.
So if software is a human being, so if you want to ask a question, so what do you ask?
Ooh, that is a very good question. If software was a living thing, which it sort of is, but not. I guess if we were doing AI, I guess it could be almost like that. Um, all software is unique in its own way. Um, just like every person's unique in their own way. So it's like just try to find something that interests you about them, or something that really puzzles you that you want to know about. Um, like why do you do X? Why do you do Y? Or what do you like? What makes you perform the best? Motivate the software, I guess.
So so do you have anything that you cannot forget?
Personally, yes. I don't think anybody really wants to hear about my personal life. But yeah, it's just for software wise, it's definitely, you know, lessons. Some of the lessons that have caused me some problems. Like things like teamwork failure is one where I was working on trying to clean up some software. We had some really wet software, so we were trying to dry it up, and we had like 5 instances of one function, but one function uh, did something, just a minor difference between a dash and an underscore. Um, and so I was like, oh yeah, you should take care of that. Like, okay, so I put that in there, and they forgot to make sure that the places that the other um, the other part of that would have worked was actually manipulated or changed to make sure it did do the same thing, which caused a lot of issues later down the line with the SEO of the business. Uh, which, yeah, it's you just have to think. I feel really bad that I didn't go further than what I was needing to. I should have done some more. I should have gone above and beyond on that issue. Of course, that was many, many, many years ago, and now I know that I should be checking for other things um, with my code.
So what do you think that is working for you to be a good programmer?
It's the strive to improve. Just always trying to make sure that you are always improving, always chasing uh, the um, the good standards, the current best practices, because there's never going to be just here's the best practice. It's never going to stay there. It's always going to move. So you have to follow that and learn those changes. And sometimes you can even, from those changes, you might figure out a pattern, figure out the next step, and you might be the person that lets that might be the person that lays out the new better way to do things. It's just always keep your ear out, learn new things. Um, you don't always have to go chasing the new thing. I would say, stay focused on what you're doing. Maybe venture out a little bit, but don't go chasing the new trend. Learn the stuff that you need to know first, and then start exploring. Um, but yeah, just keep with it and just keep learning. Keep learning. There's always going to be learning in software development. Um, and I'm pretty sure like people that were developing in COBOL, they probably could still be learning new things to do with it, with all the changes that do happen.
What is your driving force? What is pushing you to make things done?
I like having a job. It's a challenge sometimes to get things done in the allotted time. But I'm gonna try to do it. You know, I do it to meet the challenge, and also, like I said, like just make sure I don't keep falling behind in my own work. And I like where I work. Um, I have a family to support, and I like stability. So it's always it's my motivation factor is to have a stable income source to provide for my family.
You're programming machine, you're programming software, and you're creating something that is not existed before. So in this 25 years of the complete software programming experience as a programmer, what is your view on AI?
I believe AI can be a great thing that can help us in many things, especially for detecting patterns that we can't sometimes see because there's just too much data out there to gather. Um, I think that sometimes it could be a downfall in certain situations. Like currently we have the GitHub AI stuff, to help you program, which can be a good thing, but I can see somebody taking it too far. And not just, the programmers themselves. I can see like businesses thinking that they can rely on a machine programming their own system for them. And I can see that being a big backlash for, some greedy company owners that just don't want to pay people and, want to get out cheap. And, I hope that they lose on that front. I do think that some people are trying to push the AI to fool other people, to con people, which is kind of sad. I don't want to see that. We have enough trouble as it is, as society, dealing with the greed of people and, being conned in many ways.
So what is going to be the future?
Well, I think the future's definitely going to be interesting. We have so many things that we deal with, like environment. We're going to see, things trying to help with that, improvements on transportation or anything that uses fossil fuels, improving on the efficiencies there, or getting to um, all electric stuff, improving the efficiencies on those items, because right now it's just not feasible for a lot of people. I know here in Texas, you can go 8 hours before you're out of the state, and there's lots of nothing between those 8 hours. Um, so we're going to get some stuff on that. I think we might see some faster networking stuff. Uh, things that were like things that we thought weren't possible are going to become possible, or become mundane, like this video chat right here. Like this was like when I was growing up. I have a picture from a like the fair that had like, here's the future. It's going to be like the video phones and video pictures, over the phone lines. And now we're doing this. Like it just showed up and it's like, oh wow, okay. Um, I think yeah, there's definitely going to be some improvements, but I don't think there's going to be some major things that will happen. But it probably just be like, oh hey, wasn't this supposed to be the next major thing, and now it's here. It's been here for a while. I think that we're going to see a lot more crypto stuff, more decentralized stuff. A lot of people are definitely getting into it, figuring out what we can and can't do with it. I'm pretty sure that we'll find a lot of stuff that we shouldn't be doing with it. There's just going to be so many innovations in the next, I would say 20, 25 years, that they're going to make things look a lot different. I know when I first started using a computer back in the 80s, it was a small thing. And it barely, I had like 64K RAM and ran on a little black and white TV. And now I have a cell phone that has hundreds of thousand times more power than that does, and storage. And, we used to have to do it on tape. Yeah, it's just going to be, things are going to just keep on going and get smaller and more powerful. And we're going to see more neat things. I know that we've done a lot of things with video cards, like not just displaying videos. We're doing like more than games. We're doing calculations. We're doing stuff that they were doing on the Cray supercomputer with weather on a CPU. A computer that took up rooms, and could seat like 8 people. That took a big water fountain cooler. It's just, the thing about it is just amazing, where we could be, where we might be. There might be, there's going to be probably things that we never thought of that might happen.
So if anybody is watching or listening to our conversation, in future this conversation, if they are watching or listening to us. So do you have anything to say about the present situation and as a programmer?
The current situation's interesting for a programmer, especially during these times. I think that with the current pandemic, it's given people opportunities in a strange way. I've seen people in the company I work for actually like move out or move out of state um, to be closer to their family because now it's like, hey, we can all telework. Um, and it definitely gives the field, it gives a better um, it gives more opportunity to people so they can explore the country or the world, um, and still do a job, and maybe even get a better job, more, something that's more fitting for them, more challenging, or maybe pay more, and less stressful. Uh, it's definitely not a you must be here situation anymore.
And,
I'll go ahead.
any predictions?
I do predict that we'll probably see some companies walking back on, working from home. I know our company, we actually moved offices to a smaller office, so I don't think we'll be forced to come back into the office. It's definitely if you want to come in, come in. If not, work from home. I think that there's going to be some changes. Um, Not just in software development. I think it's going to be, worldwide. I think we're going to probably have some issues that are just kind of lingering that are just going to all hit us. So we might see some financial or economic situations, but I think that we might start aiming towards a better uh, culture or environment, or it's yeah, I that's what I'm hoping for, is a better, better everything. I want our environment to be great. I want people to be able to be educated, be healthy. Um, you never know. You just, it's so hard. You can make predictions, be like, man, that, in 25 years, that guy was an idiot, or that guy was brilliant. So, I try not to make predictions. I just hope for better times.
So last question is, what do you say about automation?
About automation.
Yeah.
Yeah, automation's great for a lot of things, especially the tedious things. I had to do, doing reports is tedious, and being able to get the data and automate that allows people to focus on things. I think automation has changed. I would say gotten rid of jobs, but also employed new jobs. It's just a shifting of the skills. Um, but I think that automation allows us to free up what was once mundane and focus on something new and improve on a lot of things. Um, I mean, if there wasn't automation, we'd still be, building cars on a factory line, with a bunch of people. Now we can use those people to do other things. With robotics, they can put them together quicker, and it's, safer for people. So there's some safety stuff that brings to our lives for people with automation, and just it can make life generally more pleasant. Of course, on the downside, with more automation, people see that, hey, you have more time to do things, so I'm going to abuse that, and for my own gain, and which kind of sucks. But it's always a game of changing. Everything's changing, and it'll never not change. Because if it never not changed, we'd still be throwing rocks at birds trying to get food.
So one last one, because you have a lot of, I mean, you are in the industry from long time. So what do you say about giving decision making power to AI?
You have to really think about that, depending on what the decisions are supposed to be. And if you're going to do that, you better make sure that you have all the information that you need and know how to train that AI to make the best possible decision. I know that there's a lot of decisions made by people that are really hard. Sometimes they're not right. Sometimes they're completely off. Sometimes they are right. Sometimes they make no difference. I think it's just we have to be careful about what we allow it to make choices about. Right now, we're seeing it with automated, self-driving cars, and they have to make decisions of which way to steer if somebody were to jump out of the middle of the road, like a kid just runs out of the middle of the road. Which way do you go? Do you go towards the car next to the kid, or do you go into traffic? um yeah, it's something that takes a lot of work, and you have to be, depending on what you're trying to have it solve. I personally wouldn't want to have to solve that problem. If it went wrong, I would feel horrible for something that I missed. you know, Especially when it comes to people's lives.
And last one is what do you say about my questioning in this
Uh,
conversation?
it's interesting. It's been a while since I've been questioned so much. I think the last time I had questions was my interview 3 years ago with the company I'm working with now. Um, yeah, it's quite nice to have the interaction, have be questioned about things, and um, be able to tell somebody about all this stuff. And I know it's there to fill your curiosity, and which I'm glad I'm able to do that, and your audience's curiosity, and hopefully they didn't tune out 5 minutes in.
So at last, what do you say about my videos on my YouTube channel? Have you seen any videos?
I took a quick look today. I was When you first contacted me, I was going to go look, and I just happened to see the thumbnails. Like, okay, you do interviews. And I noticed on Twitter that a lot of people that I follow you, and you follow them. And it's like, oh hey, and it's like, you want to interview me? I'm just a regular guy. Okay. So I did a quick view of the one video. I guess it was a lieutenant colonel, military guy. I watched a couple minutes of that, but like I said, it's like in my personal life, I don't have much time, especially with a kid. So like trying to watch YouTube anymore, it's kind of hard because my kid will try to take the phone away from me or something like that. So it's like, okay, just I gotta focus on the kid. I used to watch YouTube all the time. I even did YouTube videos before my kid was born because I was out of work and bored. Um, but yeah, I find it interesting that you interview so many people. I just noticed like, wow, you just interview, and that you do have different channels for different subjects, which is quite interesting. I applaud you in your endeavor to get so many interviews, and just interviewing, not going for the big stars or the big people. You're going after the normal people like myself. I At one time maybe I was famous for 15 minutes, but nowadays I'm just a normal guy making jokes on Twitter, and maybe passing along the programming advice or how to get a job, or something of that nature. So I'm very humbled by being on here.
So I did masters in software engineering and I did graduation in computer science and engineering. So I'm about to come into the IT. So I just wanted to know before I did some projects, my college projects. I have some basic understanding about how the project works, but I don't know what exactly happens in the industry. So talking people like you who are already in the industry, who knows everything, who knows at least how the things works. So knowing from you people actually helps me a lot in improving and gaining knowledge. And also, I thought not only me, also people who comes and visits my site or my channel, even they can get some important and crucial points that you said. They may implement in their work somewhere. So that will be a
Right.
great thing.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a venture when you first start out. Like I wasn't able to go to college. We didn't have the money. So I actually worked doing research and development before I graduated high school for a summer for a large Japanese company. They're not so large anymore, but then after I graduated high school, it was straight to do tech support for a company called AST that's no longer around. Then it was just lots of different like support and development jobs. Uh, and it's definitely an adventure. It sometimes it's going to be stressful, sometimes it's going to be hard, uh, but you'll learn lots of things. And you just have to keep going. Not everything's going to be easy, but you'll end up finding something that you really like, a position that you like. The people I work with, I love. It's a great team of people to work with, not just inside the development group. It's the whole company. Um, you just have to just do the adventure and find out what works best for you. I can't suggest, go here, go there, go there. I mean, I can give you like, here's what I've seen in the past, and here's, what I should have done, or here's how I took care of it. Um, but yeah, it's just keep pushing, keep learning. Um, you know, if you need to explore some more, explore some more. And just enjoy the journey.
So thank you very much, sir, for giving me your valuable time and spending your valuable experience with me and my audience.
Oh, no problem. You have have a great journey,
Mhm.
and I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Oh yes, yes, you may.
Yeah, and also can I put this video and audio clip on my podcast, website,
Oh yeah,
internet,
oh yeah.
social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yep, yep. And if you want to go ahead and green screen some stuff in, go ahead. You want to put in some like trains or airplanes or robots, go right ahead.
I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll try.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I just got this yesterday because I was like, oh,
Wow.
I'm going to do this interview, so I should get that. And yeah, like I definitely learned from just getting this. Like, okay, here's what I need to do. Like, I gotta get some stuff to get it really flat, and I'm always trying to learn something when I can.
Wow.
So
So it's great. You are inspiring. Your words will affect at least one person who is watching and listening to our
I,
conversation from anywhere on this planet.
I hope so. I mean, I want to inspire people to do go out there and do the best. Do
Your
the best you
final
can.
words?
Thank you very much for having me on. I'm very humbled by this and very appreciative to have this conversation with you. And definitely, I'm not having it with your directly to your audience, but hopefully they've learned something, and hopefully if they were doubtful about anything, maybe they'll go ahead and go forth and continue on whatever they're doing. And wish
Do you
them
have
all the best of luck.
Do you have any website or any web links that you want me to share to my audience?
No, I'm just on Twitter. Just on Twitter at ELLIS, which is Echo Lima Lima Indigo Sierra, and GL. Sorry, I totally messed that up. But yeah, Ellis GL on Twitter. You can follow me there. Usually I say some funny stuff. Apparently, sometimes I get about programming stuff. Yeah,
So thank you again.
you're
Keep
welcome.
going, keep going, keep doing what you love.
Oh yes, yes, and you too. Hi,
Take care. Bye.
hi, bye.